How you doing, Commanders? My name is Griffin from Talking Trek, the official podcast of Star Trek Fleet Command, available for free everywhere. And I gotta tell you, today's Teaching Trek segment is one for the ages. Now, oftentimes, some features are more well received by some segments of our community rather than others, but one thing we can all agree on is that Star Trek Fleet Command is filled with many different engagement scenarios, which require specialized ship crewing. And not only that, but many of them require not only one specialized crew, but perhaps an entire array of them. A fleet, some may say. Solo wave defenses, solo armadas, coordinated base raiding, territory capture defense, daily grind, definitely arenas. The list goes on, and these scenarios require most, if not all, of your dry docks to be meticulously shipped and crewed to achieve the most effective tactic available. Anyway, we've had crew presets within the game for years, and they are helpful on the run, but haven't we all been in a place where we'd love to participate in a weekly event like an arena, or maybe run a solo G6 faction armada, but the very thought of reshipping and recrewing multiple station docks leaves you saying, not enough time! Well, Commanders, do we have a shiny new quality of life improvement in the game right now to talk about, or what? As the July 2025 blog post on StarTrekFleetCommand.com read, we can now streamline our strategic operations with the latest addition to Star Trek Fleet Command, Fleet Presets. This premium feature enables you to swiftly change your entire dock configuration, ensuring you're ready to tackle any mission or threat within moments. I would even say seconds once all of your ships are docked and you're ready to go. We've already talked about the why you'd want to have such a feature on our arsenal. Now let's talk about the other two big questions. How do they work, and how do we unlock the feature? The great news is that we aren't just stuck with one fleet preset, but we will have access to sourcing to unlock many of them. In fact, most advanced players already have, 24 crew preset slots, so there's no reason to speculate that this won't be the same sort of thing down the road for the fleet preset. But for now, there are 3 sourcing options in the game. First, it's a free-to-play accessible option by way of participating in Flashpoint events. As you progress through Flashpoint, you'll receive Flashpoint Event Store currency, and right there in the event store, filed under Flashpoint Event Store, you'll find the fleet preset option currently listed at 450,000 credits. So obviously, you'll need to participate in several of the Flashpoint week-long loops in order to get there, but it is there. Option number 2, also technically free to play if you have the time and the patience like this guy. It's via the Syndicate faction tree. Right here on the newly formed level 59, we see a fleet preset option. And the third and final option is via an in-game purchase at the low price of $99 US, which I cannot show you on the screen today because I've already purchased it on my own to show you, the discerning commander, exactly how it works in-game so you can decide for yourself if the value is there based on what you might use it for. Spoiler alert, it's totally worth it and you should buy it immediately. Anyway, let's take a look in game at how this thing works. Of course, to access the feature, you'll first need to unlock it by way of methods we just discussed. As you can see, I have 8 docks with all ships home and fully repaired. This is my daily grind configuration for summer of 2025, so I can get everything done in the game to max my dailies and participate in current events. I have my USS Reliant on Dock A with a Wrath of Khan loot crew aboard. Enterprise E Picard is my captain for the 100% bonus to rewards gained from hostiles. Rachel Garrett is on the bridge for her 200% loot bonus, and she synergizes with Picard to give his captain's ability that extra 40%, bringing him up to 140%. I also keenly have Wrath of Khan Carol Marcus on bridge to bring her tier 2 officer ability of a 200% augment hostile loot bonus into play. Below decks, I have the Doctor boosting loot by a further 35%, Beer boosting loot by a further 100%, Felon adding 600% protected cargo to ward off PvP poachers. Hughes there to boost my critical hit chance. Nurse Chapel bringing 40% cascade isolytic damage with her. BLT guarantees a 100% chance of hull breach. And Wrath of Khan McCoy is there to boost my mitigation by his tier 3 ability of 450%. Docks B and C are in use for the Krenim invading entity loop up in the Voyager space. Probably not the best crews on there, but they do the job for now. Dock D is my Enterprise E on PvP patrol, should the need arise. I'm running the Mirror Universe crew on there with several PvP officers below decks to help out. Deck E is the GS-31, making quick work of the silent enemies when I need to hit them for the Temporal Artifact Exchange, or of course the X-Borg enemies for their daily loop. Hitting 5 of them at a time with a gravitational blast is a quality of life improvement in itself. And finally, docks F, G, and H are all outfitted for mining ore, crystal, and gas with the appropriate ships, crew, and of course, forbidden technology. So that's my fleet. You know, a ton of time, thought, and engineering go into creating the perfect daily grinding fleet. And now we can lock them all in for an instant recall with the fleet preset. That's what's great about it. I'm going to click on any dock and press manage. Next, I'll press the fleet preset button in the upper left-hand corner of the docked ship management screen. And here's the new interface. It's pretty straightforward, actually. I mean, I see my current fleet labeled A through H. I'll check the docks I'd like to save as part of the preset, and in this case, that's all of them. And I'll click save. Now, I like that we can select which docks to save because as I unlock additional slots, I can see the case use of maybe saving C, D, and E to run a solo wave defense, maybe saving just A and B to take on the static or charged Cretum warships, while leaving the rest of my docks alone. Of course, there are other uses for selecting and saving your entire fleet, like a strong or ocean defense for station defense, or more. So there's a ton of usefulness here within this feature. Play around with it and see what works out best for you. We would love to hear all of the uses you can see yourself getting out of the fleet presets, so please leave us a comment on YouTube, or join us for an upcoming podcast to talk about it at talkingtrekfcfc.com. Until next time, my name is Griffin with Talking Trek, the official podcast of Star Trek Fleet Command, saying live long and prosper, and definitely check your shield timer before bed. What? Who's Lorca?